Welcome to our channel.
You know, it's one of those things in agriculture that just doesn't seem to make any sense. We're all taught that overwatering a plant is basically a death sentence, right? That its roots need air to breathe. And yet, some of the most productive, high-performance growing methods involve submerging a plant's entire root system in water, 24/7. So how is that possible? How can a plant literally drown its way to such incredible growth? Well, that's the mystery we're gonna unravel.
The story really begins in the world of soilless growing, which you probably know as hydroponics. To get around the problems of traditional farming, some really clever systems were engineered to give a plant's roots exactly what they need, right when they need it. But here's the catch. Every single one of these amazing solutions has its own built-in, high-stakes risk, a single point of failure that can wipe everything out.
Each approach has its own, let's call it an Achilles heel. In a deep water culture system, the biggest risk is, ironically, drowning the roots by starving them of oxygen. For the nutrient film technique, it's the exact opposite. If a pump fails, the roots can dry out and die in just a few minutes. And with aeroponics, something as simple as a clogged nozzle can be catastrophic. It's like walking a tightrope between perfect growth and total disaster.
Let's use an analogy to really see the difference. Think of deep water culture as a big, stable lake. That huge volume of water acts like a buffer, protecting the roots from any sudden swings in temperature or nutrients. NFT, on the other hand, is more like a very shallow, fragile river. It's incredibly efficient, sure, but that tiny film of flowing water means any problem, like a power outage, can become fatal almost instantly.
So you think the stable lake of deep water culture is the obvious winner, right? It seems like a safe, protected paradise for plant roots. But this paradise has a silent predator, a hidden danger that absolutely loves these exact conditions.
It's a nasty waterborne pathogen called Pythium, but you probably know it as root rot. It's this oomycete that creates these little microscopic spores that actually swim through the water, hunting for the delicate tips of the roots. And once they find a target, they infect it, and the roots just turn into this brown, useless mush. The plant can no longer absorb anything. It basically starves from the bottom up.
And this is no small problem. The damage it can cause is just staggering. A single unchecked outbreak of Pythium can wipe out over 32% of a crop's entire biomass. All that work gone. Please like and subscribe, it really helps our channel a lot. So, that brings us right back to our central mystery. With the constant threat of suffocation in pathogens like root rot, how do these plants not only survive being completely submerged, but actually thrive? Well, the answer isn't about the water itself, it's about what's hidden inside the water. It all comes down to one absolutely crucial variable: dissolved oxygen, or DO for short. This is simply the amount of pure gaseous oxygen that's been mixed into the water. This is what allows the roots to perform respiration, to breathe underwater, which powers all their metabolic processes. And managing that oxygen level actually starts with temperature. There's a Goldilocks zone for healthy roots, and it's right around 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. See, if the water gets too warm, it can't hold on to enough oxygen. But if it gets too cold, the plant's metabolism just slows to a crawl, and it can't use the nutrients anyway. Now, just to keep the roots alive, just to prevent them from suffocating, you need a baseline oxygen level of about 5 to 8 parts per million. This is just survival mode. It's enough to keep the lights on, metabolically speaking, but it's not where the magic happens. The real secret, the key that solves our paradox and unlocks that explosive growth, is pushing those oxygen levels into supersaturation. We're talking about 18 to 30 parts per million. This is way beyond just survival. This is a truly performance-enhancing environment.
Think about it like this. Giving roots that much oxygen is like giving oxygen therapy to a world-class athlete. The plant no longer has to waste precious energy just maintaining its root system and fighting off potential problems. Instead, it can redirect all of that saved energy upward, fueling the rapid growth and flowering that growers are looking for.
So knowing this powerful concept is one thing, but how is it actually put into practice at a large scale? Well, that's a journey from a simple home setup to a full-blown agricultural factory.
A single bucket is great for a hobbyist, but you can't scale it. The solution was the Recirculating Deep Water Culture system, or RDWC. It connects many plants to one central reservoir. Now that's way more efficient, but it also creates a massive risk. If a pathogen like Pythium gets into that central hub, it can infect the entire crop. Commercial systems solve this with incredible automation, which turns that risk from high to managed. And this is all possible because of some really impressive technology. Commercial systems use that central reservoir for consistency, but they pair it with automated dosing systems that are constantly tweaking the nutrient mix based on real-time sensor data. High-flow water pumps act as circulators, making sure that oxygen-rich water reaches every single plant. And crucially, they have integrated sterilization systems, using things like ozone or UV light to kill any pathogens before they can ever become a problem. It is essentially total environmental control. Which really brings us to a big final question. When you can remove soil from the equation entirely and meticulously control every single input, from oxygen levels to the precise nutrient chemistry, you can push a plant to its absolute genetic limits. So is this kind of total control environment the future of all high-value agriculture? Thanks for watching. This content does not constitute medical advice, legal advice, or recommendations for the use, self-treatment, or consumption of any substance.